Practicing gratitude is often associated with that sort of fluffy thing where you write in a journal about the things that you're grateful for. We're going to transform gratitudes from being platitudes to real impactful messages that we're going to send out to people for Thanksgiving. So today is actually Thanksgiving. So if you're watching this not today, then happy Thanksgiving, happy belated Thanksgiving. The whole premise behind this challenge is I challenge myself to write at least one gratitude per day for 30 days before Thanksgiving, and I was going to send out 30 messages to 30 people. However, I did not end up writing 30 messages. I only wrote 9. And from there, I got really busy with other things and basically fell apart. But that's probably too much detail. What we're going to do right now for just 1 hour, why we're calling it the challenge hour, is write 21 messages to people that I'm actually grateful for, like people that I legit feel grateful for. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to knock like the general act of writing down what you're grateful for in a journal. I've done that before. It's actually really effective, but I do feel oftentimes it gets lost and it doesn't feel as impactful. A lot of impact and a lot of meaning comes from my connections with others, and just telling people what you're grateful for in them for Thanksgiving is kind of what Thanksgiving is all about. So I figured it kind of just matches. And because I failed the 30-day challenge, I can do an hour challenge instead. So let's go ahead and do the very first challenge hour that we are releasing publicly, because we technically did one, but weren't happy with it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna actually show what I'm writing down because these are private messages, but at the very least, I can just do it all on camera and tell you guys about the process afterwards. And I can talk about it a little bit broadly as I go. So far for the 9 people, let's see, 2 of them are my aunt and uncle. I really appreciated them. They're my younger aunts and uncles. I don't know, for me as an Asian, I guess, there's a lot of, I don't know if maybe other people experience this too, but I have like aunts and uncles that are actually younger than me. So it's really confusing sometimes how our family tree works. But this set of siblings, my aunt and uncle, they're about, I think like within 10 years older than me, and I spent a lot of time with them when I was kids, and I really loved spending time with them. It was really fun, and I'm super grateful for them now that I'm an adult myself, that they spent so much time, because time is precious. It honestly is, and things are busier when you're an adult. So my messages to them was just thanking them for spending so much time when I was a kid. And then I have a set of cousins that I don't really see very often, but I'm just grateful for them for memories in the past, lessons that they taught me when I was a kid, and another aunt where I visited her recently in DC. I just wanted to thank her for letting me stay at her place and showing me around. It was really fun. Then another set of aunts and uncles that are married, uncle and then auntie-in-law, and for them, they were just, they were good uncles and aunts, and I really appreciate them. I know I'm being very vague and broad, but from there, I've been doing mostly friends, just 3 friends, and 2 of them are actually people I met in Japan this year. So it's a bit more recent, but I wanted to just include them in this. For one of them, I'm not even sure if Thanksgiving is like something they know about. So yeah, we'll see. But let's go ahead and continue this list for number 10. I think what I'm going to actually do is just go through family first, because I feel like it's just, I didn't really have an order back then. I kind of just did it off of the top of my head, but now I'm going to just scan through family, and let's just go with my mom, obviously. The general message is very simple. It's just saying that I'm extremely grateful for my mom. Like, even though our family history was rough in the beginning, like my parents are divorced and everything, I'm still grateful that my mom has worked so hard to just support me as a son. And there's things that we fight about sometimes, and there's a lot of stuff basically, but I'm still grateful for everything that she's done in my life. And I'll tell her that in person, but it's good to just write it out first to have like a rough message. Okay, next one's gonna be my uncle, who is my mom's brother. I wasn't expecting to be emotional about this one, but basically just thinking back, because okay. Because I grew up without my dad around, and my uncle always lived close to me. I never told him this, but I feel like in some ways I saw him as like the male figure that's like older than me, that's like almost could be like a dad And I'm just grateful that he was there helping my mom and I all the time. I don't know why I feel so emotional about that. I mean, like, it makes sense, but I was not expecting like to tear up like this. I just feel like I genuinely feel grateful. We don't really do emotions that much too with family, especially the guys, Asian family, stereotypical, I guess, but I don't know how he's gonna respond to this, but I'm just gonna send this message to him either way. I feel it and I'm grateful. Also, my uncle helped cut my hair all the time when I was younger. Super grateful for that. Never had to like pay for, I cut my own hair now, and also sometimes after he cut my hair, I wasn't really like super happy with it, but he still did it for such a long time. And I'm grateful I didn't have to like go to spend money on like a barber or something. I put that in the message. Not the part where I didn't like it, but the part where he helped cut my hair all the time since I was a kid. Okay, grandma is next. I don't know how to say this because my grandma only speaks Cantonese. I'll have to find some way to translate. ChatGPT maybe. So the next one's very simple. My grandma, she helped raise the kids when we were younger. I'm super grateful for her for that. And also just, she cooks all the time. One of the reasons why I don't have to spend as much money is because throughout my whole life, basically living in California, my grandma's always been around helping us like with cooking and providing meals for us. So I am super grateful for that. I think like I was emotional while writing that just because it's like, it's just a meal, but like, damn, it's like so many years of it. And she does it for the whole family. It's like, it's a lot of hard work. And I feel really, really grateful for that. God, I was not expecting to be this emotional about this, but it kind of makes sense. Otherwise, it isn't impactful and meaningful, but damn, okay. Let's move along. Okay. All right, this one's for my cousin. He's 2 years younger than me, and we grew up together, basically, as neighbors. And even in our teens, we were basically neighbors as well, and as adults. But we haven't really hung out lately these days, but that's what I told him. But when we played as kids, teens, we played like a lot of games like Call of Duty. I would lead exercise sessions by doing a lot of push-ups, and we danced together because we like doing that, like hip-hop dance. I did breaking, and we just come up with fun stuff and have a lot of fun. Even though there were rocky moments between us, I still value him as a cousin like a lot. And yeah, just want him to know that. Next one is to my cousin again, who previous one, they're siblings. And for this cousin, she's younger than me by 5 years, but again, I've been distant. It's kind of the consequence of me being in Japan often, is that I'm not around family, but also, we're all growing up and we're all busy. But basically I just told her, we played together all the time as kids. She was the person who I made a video about this actually on my second channel, I think, where I talked about the story where I threw a water bottle because we were like, I was like 10 years old maybe, and she was 5. The water bottle hit her head. She started bleeding, and my grandma was freaking out. And my dad was so angry at me that I'm not telling the full story, so I'm skipping some parts, but basically what happened was at night I got pulled out, had to kneel on the floor outside of the house because we were neighbors, like in between I don't know what to call it, because technically we're in the same unit, it's like half a house basically. I don't know how to describe it, but either way, he made a whole show of like hitting me while I was kneeling down crying in the cold at night. And he told me he had to do this because he had to show them that I was sorry. So I was in pain and I was crying like crazy, and I was definitely sorry. But yeah, I ended up, I think it wasn't for too long. I can't remember exactly how long, but it was no more than 30 minutes for sure. Probably under that, but to me, to my child brain, it felt like a long ass time. It was probably under 20 minutes likely that I was kneeling there getting hit. But after I went to the door and apologized, to her, she had like a band-aid on her head. That was like a core memory of mine. And she sometimes jokes around saying that she's not as smart because I did that. But hey, she's studying for a PhD. She is smart. But I didn't mention that, but I just said that as kids we played together all the time. Maybe I should mention it. It triggers some interesting memories. And as teens and young adults, she would ask me for help for homework and quizzes, and sometimes I would just like write her final paper for her, like a version of it, just help her with it basically. But it was like, they were nice memories, a lot of them. Like I treasure those memories for sure. And for both cousins, because I'm the older one, I told them like if they ever need anything, Like I'm here to help. I mean, assuming it's something I can help with while I'm in Japan. Yeah, that's like a conflicting feeling of mine. Just gonna put this somewhere. Okay. All right. This one was for my sister, and it's quite personal. We've been going through a lot lately, so I'm not gonna mention it too much, but I still want to tell her how grateful I am. Especially when we were kids, we went through a lot because of the divorce, and if I had to go through that alone, that would have been really tough. Okay, moving along. This one's for my best friend, one of my closest friends since first grade. We haven't really talked at all these days, but he's a very significant person in my life. Like I always thought, you know, if I were to get married, eventually he's gonna be my best man, because we just spent so much time together as kids and teens and beyond. He even lived with me for a while, and we would just do a lot of things, try a lot of things, and I think part of why I'm on the path I am on now is because of him. So I'm grateful for our friendship. This next one's for another friend that I've had for a long time, since elementary school. I moved at the time of my parents' divorce, and I thought that I had lost all my friends because of the move, even though, you know, now that I'm older, it's literally just a 50-minute drive, or depends on traffic, but give or take an hour drive away, which isn't like too far. But when I was a kid, it felt like a huge distance, and that I had just lost all my friends from elementary school and middle school, and I felt depressed. It was also the time of the divorce, like I said, so double whammy, huge depression. I legit didn't want to talk to anyone. I was mute in 8th grade for a good month. I just didn't say anything to anyone unless it was a teacher. But some friends in 8th grade eventually got me out of that. But for this friend here, she, even though she wasn't in my school anymore, she did her best to actually remember a memory. I remember when we had school for the first day for them in 8th grade, I got a chance to visit because, you know, after the move, my mom still had like business to do in the area, like for like dentist stuff or doctor stuff or whatever, just some business here and there, or family. So we would visit that area sometimes, and I happened to visit that area on the first day of school for them in 8th grade. And I was walking towards them after school ended. I saw people fled out, and she was there running towards me, like to give me a hug. And it felt like it felt like, why is it so hard to talk? It felt like one of the warmest hugs I've ever had in my entire life. Like, holy shit. And I think for her message, you know, I told her that, you know, I'm super grateful for our friendship, even though lately we haven't talked. It's the theme for everyone. And I mentioned how, like, I often feel like people can only feel the now, can only think of the now, can only exist as who they are now. Like everyone always says, oh, I try to live in the present, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I've always thought this and felt this, not to be different, but because it feels true for me, because of my history or whatever. But I feel like I always feel not just the now, but the always, like the all time, like feeling now, feeling yesterday, feeling when I was a kid. Like I mentioned memories from when I was like really young for the message for my sister, like probably around 5 to 6 years old, and I can still feel it, you know? So I told her, you know, I'm always going to be eternally grateful for her as a friend, because she would send me voice messages. This was like AIM times where I didn't have a phone yet. So we weren't texting each other. We weren't on like Facebook Messenger or whatever. It was just her calling my home phone number and leaving a voicemail for me because I didn't pick up, and I would just listen to it. And it was just her being so bright and caring. So, you know, I'm just telling her how she really was a huge light in my life when it was the darkest, because that time was pretty terrible. And that's why, like, she legit earned what I would consider unconditional love from me, because, you know, we've had times where we didn't talk for a year or two, and I would reach out to try to catch up, and, you know, she wasn't feeling it. But eventually, like a year later or something, we would catch up. You know, I didn't have any ill feelings. I didn't mind that she didn't want to talk. And, you know, our lives have gone our own paths, and we've done so much apart. One can say that we don't really know each other, but because of what she did in the past, I will always try to be there to like keep up with her, ask her how she's doing, like try to get to know the new version of her more. And like no matter who she is now, I would still care about her, I would still love her. But yeah, my message basically contained most of what I just said, some more specifics. Damn, I don't even know if I want to release this video anymore. It feels a little too personal at this point. But I mean, it is still pretty broad. I'm keeping things broad. I'm not like showing the messages, but still it's like, damn. Also, it's been an hour now. It says 1 hour and 5 minutes on the camera, and I'm barely at 17 people. Okay, but I think I'm gonna speed up from here. Okay, so for this one, I addressed 2 people. Usually we talk in a group chat. They're basically my friends from 8th grade who helped me through that time by just being friends, by not doing anything specific or anything in particular, but just being my friend. Even though I was like a loner and didn't want to talk to anyone, they still tried to be my friend, and that's awesome. So that's 2. So I will, yeah, okay, we're number 20 now. Okay, so for this one, another friend of mine that I've known since 7th grade, and we were close ever since, and we still talk here and there, but we don't really, again, not as much these days. But I'm just grateful that we spend time together sometimes, and that we still talk when we get the chance, basically. And there's 3 friends where their birthdays were recent, so, or more or less recent, and within a month and a half. So I feel like it would be repeating what I said in their birthday cards, so I'm not going to include them in this list because it feels a little bit like cheating. But I'll still say happy Thanksgiving to them, obviously. Just that, like, they know that we're close friends and I love them and I care about them. Okay, I just did a little bit of a flurry for 3 more friends. 2 of them are from college. They're my first 2 friends that I met in college, and we still hang out to this day. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, we hang out a lot. Or not a lot, but like at least once a month or 2, probably more this year, or at least when I'm in California. But it's been nice to see them. And oh my god, 7 more. This is too much. I think the challenge hour is going to just have to end in an hour, make it a little bit more time based rather than try to hit 30. But at the very least, we did our best for sending out some messages to whoever came to mind first, basically. There was no list, there was no order to this, really. So I know I'm gonna miss some friends that where I don't send them or write the message right here, but I will still go through my contacts and just send a Thanksgiving message. Honestly, I should have just sent the messages out like right now. That would have probably been smarter. Anyways, I am starting to stumble on my words, so let's go ahead and close this thing off. I was not expecting it to be so emotional, but I know that I'm I guess an emotional person in general. Okay, yeah, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving and are able to do some sort of challenge similar to this. I do feel like a part of me was also inspired because I attended a friend's wedding recently, and I noticed that at weddings you say these things, right, out loud, because it's a moment in time where it's so emotionally vulnerable. You're just so happy for a friend. But oftentimes I feel like these things should just be said more often. That's it. And Thanksgiving is a good way to at least say it yearly. So I hope you guys enjoyed me crying. I don't know. Okay, we have finished, actually. I might as well just include this in part of the video and redo the outro. But basically, we finished with all 30. We actually did 31 and potentially more, depending on if I somehow forgot a friend, because I just did not look at any, like, I actually do have a list of my closest friends, so I can look at that list later. But I did 31, and it's not everyone on the list, unfortunately, but I'm gonna take forever. It's, I think, 2 hours since I started, so this challenge hour was challenge 2 hours. But anyways, just wanted to say this was a really great experience. I think that I'm very glad that I decided to do it and follow through with it, even though, you know, technically we failed the 30-day challenge of a gratitude every day. Doing it all at once kind of still has a very similar effect. If anything, it cascades the effect and makes it stronger. And I feel really, really grateful for, you know, just a lot of my life experiences and connections with the people that I just basically wrote messages for. I haven't sent them yet. I actually think I'll send them at night because it just feels kind of, I don't know, moodier at night. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this challenge. And the last gratitude that I want to give is for anybody who watched this video, and also the subscribers or viewers that consistently watch my content. Honestly, thank you so much. It means a lot to me because I just finished my 1-year challenge of uploading every single day, and I did receive some comments in between 1 year ago and now, and it just felt nice to get some engagement with that, even though it was mostly just random videos of me talking. For the people who are still around, like, honestly, thank you so much, and I really appreciate you guys for watching. So happy Thanksgiving, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.